Hey, my name is Phil the Cruz. After a hiatus, back on the show, Cruising with Phil. I'm covering the Mississauga by-election for mayor, and one of my first guests is Mr. Mitchell Maceachern. Did I get it right, Mitchell?
Yes, you did. Hey, very good.
I asked you for the interview. So, I know. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. Let's give you guys a more exposure. So, tell Mitchell who you are and what you're all about.
Well, first, thanks, Phil, for the opportunity. This is really cool.
Oh,
When I asked you before we started what your motivation was, and there has been, I'm sure you've heard of Brian Crombie, one of the
yeah,
candidates running.
yeah,
He's been more than everyone else combined, by far. He's been the most outspoken advocate for transparency. Like the other candidates aren't getting exposure, and there are like he's a little bit like maybe too aggressive on that point,
yeah.
because I know there's, being an event planner and a musician, like I know how hard it is to get people together. But there has been a suspiciously regular three people all the time, and it's the three candidates who are the incumbents. And all fairness to them, they're incumbents. They have the position and everything, but there has been a serious lack of interaction with the other 16
You,
candidates.
and it's not surprising. Like even like Mississauga, not like Toronto, we had the same thing. Just to cut you
Yeah,
off, so we had the 2022. I ran for mayor. We had 30 candidates. About 18 of us were visible, but only the top five got like the top three got noticed. Like even two were my friends, Sarah and Claire and Chloe, toward the end. And then this by-election, we had like 102 candidates, and like you see the last how many debates were the same eight candidates. People are getting like, where are the rest of us? Like
yeah.
I don't mind the like for your expertise is music, right? Like if there's like thing about like we had a debate in for about food security. That's my thing. I've been there for 25 years. So like they didn't invite me because that's my thing, and I have the background. I even phoned up on the cast. Look, take me information. You're gonna do a debate. Go share it. I don't care. Let's get the job done. But like you said, you don't get that much. Like, that's what I'm doing this. You don't get a lot of exposure, and I understand. I understand the frustration the first year. You know what? Now you get kind of mellow at it, so like, yeah, it's okay, don't mind. It's kind of like
Yeah,
it's okay. I don't get exposure, it's no big deal. So but social media
yeah.
is bigger than it's the media is also control. I was like in look what you said about Mississauga, like the top three, the incumbents always get more exposure. I got a question for you. It's really funny. You know what's funny in Mississauga? Uh, they're the few councils right for mayor, right?
There's four. Well, I guess
Four, yeah,
Carolyn resigned her seat just before the election,
yeah,
so
yeah.
there's technically three, but there's four.
Yeah, so
There's
that's funny
four.
because the over in Toronto, like we had about three or four councillors ran for mayor, but they don't have to give up their seat. So they lose, they just go back to being councillor. Whereas you guys,
Same, same,
yeah.
same.
So same is the same?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay. So even though you resign your position, you can go back to the same position?
Well, no, she did it. She's an anomaly for doing it. She did it because of like it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Like I think.
Yeah, I think
Um,
so too. Yeah. Yeah.
the other
Because
three, the other three candidates don't have to actively resign to campaign, and so they really genuinely don't have anything to lose, and their full paid salary during the campaign. So it's an off balance, if you were looking at it efficiently. But you don't have to resign your seat to run for mayor, as far as I know.
like one of the frustrations on our side for the running for mayor was like you said about they're working full time, they're getting paid to they're using their time to advertise and campaign. So our thing is like we had quite a few candidates I know well that are 9 to 5 jobbers and they can only canvass after work or after hours, right? So they
Yeah,
wanted to say we should have a level playing field. Like you shouldn't be if you're a
yeah,
council, you shouldn't be campaigning as a council. You should be doing a council job. Like there's quite
yeah,
often, yeah.
yeah,
They got a lot of things. People got to criticize for that. Like some of the candidates, like like you're supposed to be a counselor. Why aren't you there? You're supposed to not campaigning during office hours. You know what I mean? So there should be
yeah.
a level of playing field, I think, in that way. It's been like
Well,
that for a while, so I should need to change.
do you mind? Well, do you mind if I leap off that into a bit of an
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
ideological? So,
Yeah,
like, I got involved because I wanted to learn. Like, I don't know what's going on, so I wanted to educate myself. And there was an opportunity with the by-election to just jump in and just learn on the fly. And I've learned a lot. And one of the things that I've noticed, I've never been a fan of government, but period. I've always thought government should be as small as possible and as unintrusive as possible, and just leave people alone, kind of a thing. And when I see the system functions in such a way in Mississauga that the councillors don't need to give up their seat to run a campaign to get to another position of government, that screams ladder climbing to me. And ladder climbing, you can go into the corporate world and climb the ladder, but politics should be about service, and it should be about education, and it should be about empowerment. And when we have people who have nothing to lose and still collect our taxpayer money to climb the ladder, to do no more else than just to continue to climb the ladder. Now, I'm not going to throw them under the bus, because I know they're trying to do the best job that they can. I always believe in people at the end of the day. But I think as a system, the political system that I've now gotten more experience in Canada, and specifically in Mississauga, is a facsimile of what it should really be. And so like now I'm thinking like my burden or my job is to learn as much as I can to educate myself and other people so that maybe we can change that system, because the system is redundant and inefficient beyond belief. And I just think like this is our money, this is our tax-paying money, and it's being used for what? Like I really want to scrutinize the hell out of where the money is going, who gets the money, and why they get the money, because it's just at the end of the day, I don't think the government should have that much money. I think the government should have as little as possible, do as little as possible, and just leave people alone so that they can live their lives in the way that they want to live it. That would be a great little city to me, in my opinion.
That's not exact. I feel exact the same way. Last year, learning during the election, the first time you learn the kinks and
Yeah,
what kind of interviews to avoid, like what what kind of
yeah,
yeah. Just but now you get to the like learning each way, just educating yourself. And I knew about a little about politics, but like you said, when you get further in, you go, oh, okay, so that's how it goes on. That's what I agree exactly what you said. I agree exactly everything. I agree with what you said. You know what you said. So it's true. It's redundant. Right now, this is like the photo ops is one of my biggest things. Photo ops
oh
is
my god,
like it's just so it doesn't make. But here's a good thing. Okay, I say they're even they're now councilors doing photo ops. I know they're getting rid of the next election, but they're all every day they're out there on Instagram. I go, it's really great. My question is, you're doing photo ops with all these organizations. So my question is, are you part of them? Are you involved? Like, are you actually doing the work with them? Now they're just taking your pictures.
yeah, yeah, that's a
That's
good
a big
question.
thing. Yeah, because I'm part of. I joined more neighbors, Acorn. I'm active in that, so I do
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
do,
okay,
and I fight for people. But like these guys
yeah.
doing photo ops and all the every cultural event, like they kind of tick off all the nationalities. I all make jokes about that. It's so funny.
Well
Obviously,
said.
I got five nationalities, so I got ticked off right away. I got an advantage of you guys. No, I'm gonna ask you. I was gonna mention something about your Instagram. I like one of your messages on your Instagram. I just saw there the other day. I like what I like. I thought it was so nice, but humble. You know which one I'm talking about?
Oh, the which one? Sorry, and forgive the phone ringing in the
Yeah,
landline
the
there.
one of your Instagram videos, you said that you put your name in late, so you didn't get invited to quite a few of the debates, right?
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
said on your video, and I said the same. I agree with this, and I think it's so nice what you said. He said, please go vote. I said, I missed being on the debate. I'm not on there, but please go vote. At least go vote for took of the candidates. So that's what tells me, right? And rather than say like, hey, vote for me, I'm Mitchell. You said
Oh
you're humble.
yeah, no.
Yeah, and you said your humble self. So you're an easygoing guy, like saying you know, even though I'm not going to be in the forefront of the debates, I still want you to go and vote and go check out the candidates. And I thought it was so neat what you said. You don't say that too
Well,
often. No, that's really
no, I appreciate. Do you mind if I say something to that? Because like I
yeah,
have
sure.
a reason. I appreciate you spotlighting that, because another thing I've learned since I got involved here is just to speak to the redundancy of the political system, is it's not actively proactively looking for the right thing to do. It's not actively seeking out people with ideas and then using those ideas to further the service engine. It just seems to be a system that's, oh, that's just the way it does. That's
Yeah,
just the way we've done it. That's just the way it goes. Well, like I'm really sick of hearing that. So
yeah.
like when I meet like a guy like George Tavares, who has incredibly interesting ideas for how to make the city like run more transit efficiently with the use of AI and cameras, I'm like, well, it doesn't matter who the mayor is. Just take that idea and use it. Or
Exactly.
if Brian's got like the railroad tracks aren't being used, let's use the railroad tracks that aren't being used. Well, why aren't we using the railroad tracks that aren't being used? Like what's wrong with this system that it's like actively like pushing away other ideas? Like I don't want to win the election. I don't believe in the system as it is. I want to get people with the good ideas to give those good ideas to people who can build those good ideas, and then get those ideas made, and then just leave it there. Like, you don't need to do anymore. You had a good idea, just submit a good idea, the good idea is used, and then we move on to the next good idea. Like, that would be a very efficient system, if you want to contrast it with what we have today, which seems to be a lot of like, I don't know, maybe a little bit more of this, maybe a little, I don't know, maybe a little bit, oh, it's 4 o'clock, I guess I gotta go home. I'm making a joke, but at the same time, I can't stand I want to do the right thing. And I
Yeah.
want leaders to want to do the right thing. And maybe I'm totally wrong because I don't have the experience that a lot of the people who have been mayors or premiers or prime ministers. I've never been those people, so I don't know what it's like. But I really hope that they're struggling trying to find the right thing to do all the time, because if they aren't, then what are they actually doing? To your point about like,
Okay.
transparency.
I actually did a video last night, but I had an event last night at a community event, and I did a frustrating video when the council just got appointed. He and I said about the the actual voice of the people in the last election. There's no voice of the people, like you just said, the voice of the people. Like in the media, like the Toronto, like they're interviewing people on a positive note. It's kind of a neutral thing on some of the channels. And I said, you know what, people are frustrated. Like they just said,
Yeah.
over 50% of Torontonians will not be able to buy a house. Why are they interviewing these people? Like, let's talk about that. There's something
Yeah.
wrong. Like you just
Yeah.
said, the voice of the people, an idea. Like I even said in the beginning of my election, my first, I said, if anybody has an idea, if I get elected, come to the city hall. I want to hear your idea. Let's try it.
There.
If
Yeah.
it'll work, we'll try something new, right?
Yeah.
Let's make a mistake. Let's work together and make a mistake. I'll learn off you, learn off. Let's get the ego. Just because you come to the office
Yeah.
and say, I'm the mayor. How dare you give me ideas?
Yeah. Exactly.
Mitchell, you got an idea? Sorry, Mitchell, you just don't want to be mayor. You're not a mayor, but you got an idea. Why can't you use it? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
So let's talk about talk about your campaign. I read some of your I like how you're a real social guy about the media, and especially as a musician, right? Musician is so one-on-one with people. You just can't get away from that. You just unless you're one of the miser musicians, just plays by your little beat and playing by yourself there.
Well, I do that too.
I know. I went to that period also. Yeah. So what your just talk about what's your three top part if you get elected, what are your three top priorities as a mayor?
Okay, thanks. That's a great question. Three. My main priority is education. I think at the end of the day, so I don't really understand what the mayor does, and I've asked some people, and they say, oh, they preside. They're the chair of the meetings. They have a vote in council. Blah 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 blah. But I'm like, yeah, but what that was that like an hour a week? Like, what did they do? With their time? Like, I think that mayor should be walking around the city all the time, shaking everybody's hand. They should know all 750,000 Mississaugans by the name. They should have a really good rapport with them, because what else is I doing with their time? I could be wrong, but what else does the mayor do with their time? So that's one of the first things I want, is like to re-educate myself or educate myself, and then educate the people of like, this is the correspondence here. This is the deal, so that they know at the end of the day that they can trust that person. And then like that's such a precedent, so that like it just feels like I've been talking to a lot of people, and they just feel a lot despondent when it comes to like the transparency in politics. So like for the first thing I would try to do is like re-inspire education, so that the people know what's going on, and then that they want to get more involved. Because like at the end of the day, I don't want a system to tell me what to do. I want to feel part of a system. And so like when I think of the electorate, having an politically motivated or engaged electorate, I think of like it would be such an ideal state to have like politics be right up there with professional sports in entertainment value and like recognition, and like they want to know what's going on. They want to debate in public cool ideas of like how things should or should not go. And so like the second thing I would love to do is to facilitate events that are debate oriented in public. So it's not something that happens in council at City Hall, but like we'll do it at a pub in North Mississauga 1 month, and then we'll do it at a community center in another month, and like
Just
every
something,
month
yeah. Just regular
to,
places, not handpicked places that are like town hall, community centers. Like you said,
yeah,
every day. Let's go to a bar. Let's like you don't see that, right?
exactly.
Like
No.
as you know, as a cat, I went to the jail like last my election. I went to a jail to go talk to some people, right? But they wouldn't cover that.
Interesting.
I was the only candidate because they're all voters, right? I said I was the only candidate went to a jail. I won't say which prison it is, but they they said, if we don't get any media coverage, we can't expose you. I said, okay, no problem. But let's go talk to the people that are, I had a great time. I mean, I had not on person, but I had just talking to people on just hearing their cases and all that stuff. And I got some answers from people, and I helped them out and just direct them certain ways you can apply different things. But it was only out of the hundreds of candidates. First time I actually mentioned that was the only candidate that actually went to a prison to go talk to people. You know,
Dude, that speaks so much to your character as a human being. Like that
but
I'm
like
so
yourself,
blown
you're
away
human.
by.
Like you're human, right? The way you're talking, it's just like you're a down to earth
Yeah.
guy, and you want see they don't like that in politics, and that's really politics are done. It is. We
No,
like
you're
all
right.
those
Yeah.
candidates, like I see some of your like you and some of the other candidates I really like, but and I read your videos, and I say that you don't see that in today's politics. And why isn't that? Why they push like I said, you're not getting coverage. They're getting that same exposure, the same incumbent media
Yeah.
mediocre, so people don't want to bother unless they get
Yeah.
exposed, right? That's how it has to change because people are frustrated. Like I did the food security is my biggest thing in
Hmm.
landlords. Wasn't covered in any elections, but then after it was over, what are they showing? Lineups downtown at 4-year food banks and big lineups around the corner,
Interesting.
housing. We talked about it in the 2020 election, like what housing. There's so many, like I don't be in Mississauga, but there's so many empty houses, buildings the government could take
Yeah.
over. There's like we have a convention center. You have one down there. You got what's that one over there? Just by the I guess your city hall. There's a big convention center on the other side. It's always empty. It's half empty.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
you could use that for like a drop-in center, or like just put people overnight there. They just want to get out of the cold and just the government owns it. It's so simple. Just simple. They want the money from the government. When they say affordable housing, they want to build things. But yeah, what about infrastructure? Like you said,
Oh
things are
man.
falling apart. And you've probably seen their self horror stories of what's going on, like lack of landlord, landlord
Yeah, it's out of
well,
control.
and I think that like you said, they should be down to earth, like a regular guy. Like as you get voted as a mayor, I'm gonna miss yeah. So as your mayor, you're a musician, so I'm gonna jam with the people down at this bar, right?
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah,
see
right?
that as a mayor, right? No, I don't think
No.
never mayors see that. You never even heard of that. Maybe they do it's like showman sports, like photo ops. I'm gonna catch the ball. I'm gonna cut the ribbon. I'm gonna bake the cake and all that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
I'm
but
put.
no.
No, I just my latest they have this thing called the Tim Hortons, the cookie smile. I'm a big Tim Hortons fan. But I might have
Yeah.
one of these counselors are decorating cookies. I said, buddy, I've been decorating cookies all my life. I'm a baker. I don't get any recognition for making that damn cookies. It's so funny, right?
Yeah.
If I was there, I would stand there. Did I make that cookie? What's in the ingredient? What's in that icing? I want to know. You're just putting it on there. I want to know. Rather than just
Yeah.
make a showpiece for the
Yeah.
interior. Like a musician, the people can say, I'm a musician or a rocker, but I'm on stage with Mitchell. I'm stringing along, just trying to look good in front of the audience, trying to get election coverage. But and then Mitchell turns
Yeah.
around and says, yeah, well, what's in that? What's that chord?
Yeah.
Can you music,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just doing a photo ops here, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It's so
It's a
funny.
show. It's a show. It's a show. They love their show, that the
So what
politicians.
I was gonna say, what made you decide to like? How long did it take you to decide to run for mayor? Put your name in. Like, did you think about it for a while or just suddenly?
No, no, I was out for a walk and I saw a sign that said be a candidate to by-election for the mayor. And so I went on my phone like as I was walking and I looked up how to do it and it was very straightforward. So I was like, okay, I'll just do it. So it was like a complete snap decision. I had no idea that there was even
That's
an election coming. Like it was just a complete spontaneous decision.
that's so cool. You just go. It just you know. At least you didn't say the other one said join the military. I'll go sign up and you go.
Yeah, well,
It's either the mayor or going to join the military. I don't know. It's spontaneous, right? It's so
yeah.
cool.
Well,
So
I'm the
funny.
musician. I just go with whatever's happening. If
Yeah,
it
yeah.
says
Right.
go there, I'll go there. Okay, whatever.
Do you write your own music
Oh
yourself?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
Only
great.
I don't even know any cover songs.
Oh, okay, cool.
I
Do
have
you
a
have like
bad
your
I'm bad.
do you have like your own website for your music and all?
We did well my artist name is Understand Trees,
Hmm. Oh yeah,
all
yeah.
one
You're
word.
the yeah.
Yeah. So we had a website. I got to bring it back because we got like it's been an ebb and a flow in with music for me as a thing that I do. Like sometimes I'm doing it a lot and sometimes I'm not doing it at all. So we took the website down for financial reasons, but Understand Trees is like on Spotify and YouTube and all that stuff. You can get the it's like singer songwriter folk finger picking guitar
Oh,
stuff.
oh, cool. What's really funny about our like politics back used to be fun. You used to have like funny challenges for candidates, but that's so boring. Like the
Oh my
Olympics.
god, man! You making it fun again. Like, so like one of the problem as far as I can see it is that there's like, if only 20% of the voters showed up at the last election, like
Yeah,
the 80% of the people didn't give a damn, or they didn't know it was happening. Now, like it's gone up 40% from last time, but that's only like 30% of the, it's
yeah,
still such a small number, right? Like, so what's going on there? Well, and I've been talking to my friends, and like I have personal friends, and they're all really proud of me for doing this. They're all patting me on the back, saying, Mitch, it's so amazing that you're doing this, and we love you, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, thank you so much, but you're the solution. I am not the solution. I'm getting involved. You need to also get involved. It's not up to me. It's not up to the counselors. It's up to an educated electorate. If you want a democracy to function, you need to be involved. End of story. And so like when I think about the Canada as a whole, and the frustration and the polarity and the yelling, and I'm like, holy smokes, like we got to slow down. We got to remember we're just talking about ideas. Nobody, like, this is, if the leaders aren't doing a good enough job, you need to be smarter than them. It's your responsibility to become the leader. If the leaders aren't doing a good job, sorry, you got to bear the weight for a little while, and we all have to figure this out together. Otherwise, it will just continue to collapse on itself, which is what we're seeing. It's like, I'm not saying that the leaders are bad leaders. There just seems to be some kind of dissonance right now on the macro level that, for example, like I discovered the Canadian Federation of Municipalities, which I'm sure you know about, the SCM, and how what they do. And I cannot believe that they need to federate. The mayors of the across the country, 2,000 mayors, had to come together to make their own federation to lobby the provincial and federal governments for more money, because the municipalities are chronically underfunded by the provincial and federal governments. For what reason? Because of the ideologies of those larger governmental organizations. And if the infrastructure, which you spoke to earlier, cannot be built because the municipalities can't get their shovels in the ground and they can't afford to pay the construction because they don't get enough taxation money from the upper levels of the government, I can only say that there's something chronically wrong with the
yeah,
Canadian
yeah.
governmental system, and we need to slow down as a country and identify key remedies for that in and of itself. Because right now the train is so wobbly. It's like it doesn't make sense to continue. I remember one person said, if you're lost in the forest, stop running.
Yeah.
Don't run. Stop running. Look at the bushes. Look at the trees. Try to find out where you are. Take a breath. Like, if we don't do that as a country, and even because the municipalities know what they need to do, but they can't get it done because there's a boot on our neck from the upper levels of government, as far as I can understand it. But if I'm wrong, like, please, I'm looking for people to educate me so that I know what's actually going on, at the end of the day.
It's so cool. I was gonna ask you, yeah, how many words in Mississauga? How many words are there?
I think there are 11.
11? Yeah, like we have 24. We was reduced.
Jesus, eh?
Yeah, I know. We have one of the wards, Ward 20, there's a group called Sun. Just started up not too long ago. It's called Sun's Scarborough United Neighbors. And there's a bunch of senior volunteers. They decided to start this organization. And
Oh,
they did
cool.
something that's never been done in our electorate. They've organized from Scarborough community groups for the first time, sitting with a council member, and they're actually hearing their voices. And these people have got together. I've got on my video. I put on the videos because I taped it, and people go like, "Wow, how come we didn't do that before?" Like community groups, different groups like housing, ACO,
Wow.
yeah, and they're different groups that came together. And the first time they meet each other, and like and you can see the video, and they're talking among each other. They go, "I never, oh, I didn't know that was available. I know that's available." They're all different groups, but they haven't come together the first time. So this Sun, it's called SUN Sunday organizers, and this is they've done like 3 community meetings. I videotaped them all. It's great. I said in the background, I said, you know what, this should have been a long time ago. Like
Yeah.
like then one person about housing, the bullying, and the lady, I didn't know you existed. Oh, I didn't know this. You know, like oh, now we're coming together, and it's got a lot of good reputation about it. So it's really going to help people do precedents, and maybe like Mississauga, like like even if you don't get elected, wherever you can still do.
So,
People always think, people always say like when you're running for mayor or ward, I can't get enough. I can't get unless I get elected. I'm not going to get no chance. You can still do. I've done so much.
oh,
Like I said, I've educated, been educated by different groups. I've got volunteered and done different things. They can still do.
yeah,
They can still like
big
even help
time.
people out running for mayor. Like yeah, people come up for your advice, and maybe you know something that's going on in the background about some sort of social program, and they say, "Oh,
Yeah,
thanks for telling me." You're not
yeah,
you're not waiting to win the election to give that information. You're ready to give it. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
back to your Instagram video with the humbling yourself, say I'm not, I can't, I didn't make the list because I put my name in late, but please go and vote and go check out the candidates. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
I didn't see that because everybody
Yeah.
usually I like people are all for themselves, and I get dinged. I get people because when I talk about in my interviews, I also include other candidates, but and I know from the last election they go, "What are you doing? Shouldn't be talking about them. About yourself. You're promoting yourself." It's not
Yeah.
about yeah. That's just so egotistical.
I
Like
know. Yeah.
well, like Chloe Brown or Sarah had an idea. I'd say, well, she had an idea during like an interview. I'd go, why are you saying that? Why are you telling it's her idea? It's your. I know it is her idea. Why am I going to bullshit and say it's mine? It's obvious she's talked about, or Sarah's mentioned something, or Isabel and all. They mentioned things like Isabel's for ODSP, and she's like the housing conglomerate on housing. She knows so much, and that's her thing. We all had our reputation. We had a debate for university, in the last debates, and everybody had their thing, and and food security came up. So everybody knew that was my thing because everyone had one housing on homelessness, and then my thing was on food security. The question was
Right.
like everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. So you also you can learn like I said, everything is a learning process. But
Yeah.
like a musician, right? You're learning the chords, right? you know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's
And
so
they're
fun.
always surprising you.
I know
Yeah.
it's so funny. Do you have are you a single guy in your family, or you're? I know you're 37, right?
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
I'm not married. No, I'm not, or
and
no family.
you're the second youngest candidate, I think.
Well, as far as I know, Sanisha,
Yeah.
who's another great young thinker. He's 35. So he's a
Oh,
little bit younger than me. And then Sarah is 18 or 19, which is unbelievable. And I just love that.
that's so funny. Yeah, we had one ward candidate, I forgot which ward. Her name was Hope Schreier, and she was the youngest candidate. One of our last the debates was a mock debate held by high school, and we went to it. It was I think it was one of my favorite debates. It was all high school students. They wanted to have mirror candidates and the ward candidates come together, do like a pretend debate. They asked us
Cool.
funny questions, and
Oh, good.
I knew Hope Schreier before she. And the funny thing, she came out and did her turn. We all did our speech, and she came out and she said, "I used to go to this high school 3 years ago. I graduated." And they're all like, all
Whoa.
these kids, like young, they're all like eyes popping, like, "Wow, you're running for a war candidate, and you used to go to high school. That's incredible." You know,
Yeah.
and that's something another I would ask about youth involvement. There's no for politics.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's a lack. They like to be involved, but there's no opening for them to get in there. Like I one of my election thing was if I get elected was have a mentor program. Going to be like
Oh, good.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you want to be a ward candidate or even like not even ward or mayor or something in the field of the city hall. Take you down, you sign up. I want to be the administrator. Oh, what's it like working for city hall as administrator clerk or secretary or or facilitator? Go down and be as a mentor. You're a staff there. You bring a young guy or young girl. They go take a round for the day. It's like
Yeah.
taking your kids to the work for the day. It's like that.
Workday, taking your kid
Yeah.
to work day.
So it's like
Yeah.
a mentoring program. They learn from that, and then, like even firefighters they have like mentoring programs for young gentlemen and women, and they
Yeah.
own that, and they get a choice. It gets them thinking of what they can do, even if they don't want to do it. Gives them an avenue to go somewhere else in a different aspect, getting involved. Like I don't want to be a mayor or I don't even work candidate, but I like being an administrative clerk. Well, I like that part of the city hall. I'm gonna go there. So it opens doors
Yeah.
to them, right?
Yeah. Big time. Big time. I mean, to force them to go to school. So why don't we force them to do things that they know they're going to have to interact with in the future in real life?
I
Like
know,
it's,
that's so funny. Wow. So yeah, I know you like doing. What else do you like doing for hobbies other than like music and all?
well, oh my God. I'm a stonemason. Like my job is in construction. I really like my job.
Oh, nice.
So so I build stuff out of stones or fix people's houses with a stone. And then obviously I make music. I'm really into spirituality too. So I have a friend from India and we do a live stream every Friday morning on Instagram Live. And
Oh,
we talk about like the Hindu faith and the Western world and the economics, all sorts of different things, but through the lens of like day-to-day spirituality. I'm like an active meditator, and I've been doing. I'm a very outspoken advocate for psychedelic research and therapies for that integrate psychedelics into the therapies. I think that is a tremendous healing, such tremendous healing potential for people. And I just like to have fun, like wherever
oh,
I go.
that's
I like to,
amazing. I love that. I do yoga in the morning meditation.
yeah,
I
yeah,
I'm into
I,
spirituality. I'm a Catholic, but I got more. Even as a Catholic, I still practice spirituality. Like kind of like I was like I'm like a lazy Catholic. Things that got thrown my way in a certain situation, that you follow the path. also need
Yeah.
the I'm big on the following the path and where you're led and a calling and just going the flow and go with your heart and just
Yeah.
take it from there. And you learn from your experience. You don't go with an ego. You just go with a little be the same level with anybody else. And you go like when I went to Egypt, I did learn so much there. I'm funny like you talk about the guy in India. It's funny their views. Their I find I don't know if you agree with this. Their philosophy of spirituality is more open than we are over here in North America. I find. Do you think?
Oh, way more open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my friend contacted me from Egypt. He's online. People are in the background, like in my apartment, and he's talking about spirituality we experienced together. Because we met on the last day of my first trip. He was a waiter at one of the restaurants, and he came in the
Oh,
morning shift. And we happened to call it fate. His birthday was the same, July 17th. We celebrated a birthday together. And what's the chance of 17 million people in Egypt? You meet one guy has the same birthday as you, and we
right.
became friends. We became. The second trip I went to go stay with him in his apartment. He invited me to stay there. But we talk about spirituality, and he comes online. My friends around. He goes, so it says, Phil, my friend, he says, have you been talking your spirituality? Have you done any more bilocation? They're going like, look, what is that? What are you talking about? Say, people don't understand that. Or have you done any spirit? Have you seen have you had any more visions? They go, what is it? See, it's more open. And I said, so I
Yeah.
said point blank online to him with my friends. I go, sorry, man, people over here are not as open as over there in Egypt. But it's hard. So like I had to explain it in broken news. Like, it's hard to explain. Like, really? What? I don't understand. He says, why aren't they? It's just like the way it is, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
looks like you're a lunatic if you talk too much about certain things about psychedelic and all that.
That's so true.
It's funny. But I'm always like, if you live from your youth. Like I was talking about one of my videos in the lecture. I said I used to drink a lot and all that.
Yeah.
Half Irish, and people, why are you talking about? Think you're getting drunk? Well, who hasn't drunk but why don't they talk about it? Like we all have we've done things in the past. It's not like it's like taboo. It's a learning process, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you
Yeah.
get caught for drunk driving, you still run for a candidate. Like, what's the big deal? It's something you
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah, yeah. As long as yeah, repeated mistakes are the problem. Like, just
Yeah,
live your life.
yeah. You just learn your lesson. And that's it. I tell my student managed to use. I said, like, if you're gonna, I want you to make mistakes in life because if you're gonna be so perfect at all these TV shows, all these idol shows, like, you got to be the perfect this, perfect singer, perfect. Like, it just puts a whole facade. Like, you as a musician, if you come across people that want to be perfect and they want to look in front of you like I'm perfect, Mister Mistral. I don't want to make a mistake and flaw and look weak in front of you, look like a less person because
Oh
you're
yeah.
so yeah, and it's so daunting. I when I see it, I said, just so frustrated. I said, I wish you wouldn't think like that. You're allowed to make
Yeah.
mistakes. It is so true. So I was
I
gonna
learned
say,
that so much.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
I've lived through exactly what you're talking about, like big
yeah.
time.
I have these four sayings about the human ego. I talked to them about my videos a lot. I said, when it comes to the human ego, if you can say this to yourself without having any problems, I would say if you can say to yourself that I say these words, I'm sorry, I'm wrong, I need help, and thank you. If you can say those four things without having your ego, getting rid of your ego, then you're okay. You just out the door and
Yeah.
you're fine.
Maybe Doug Ford and Justin Trudeau can say those four words. Maybe. Because we would all be on their side.
Oh
Like
yeah.
you but
So just about 3 minutes left. So I just wanna just so why should they vote for you, Mr. Mitchell, besides your psychedelic fear experiences and your music? Yeah, I think you're good. You're a fun guy. You're a fun guy. And that's
thank,
meaning a fun.
thank,
You need a fun man, not somebody boring sitting as like a stiff guy. Like people want
yeah.
variety. They're tired of they see this interview. Well, like he's different. Oh, okay. He's not just wearing a tie and standing up taking pictures of the baby. He's doing something, right?
Yeah.
And he's talking
Yeah.
about his mistakes. People like to hear when people hear you making your mistakes in life, they love it because it shows that you're human. You're not like a Barbie doll. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's true. Well, I guess like not to repeat it, but like I definitely don't want people to vote for me unless they actually pay attention and do their research and check out the other candidates because they all have great ideas and just but if the one thing I can bring to the table is like a genuinely candid honesty. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm getting involved because I want to learn. All I want to do is communicate what I'm experiencing to other people so that they can learn more and then we can all learn more together. So it's like if you were to vote for me, you'd be getting somebody who's just totally transparent, like glass. All I'm doing is letting you see inside what's going on. And then hopefully we can all work together to make things better. So that's what I bring to the table.
That's so cool. That's so nice. So honest. And you're still being humble about voting for looking at other candidates. I like that. When you feel
Yeah, for
you're,
sure.
you're like you're promoting the other people. It's so you don't see that, which is nice. And when people see the video, they need to go like, hey, he's talking about the other candidates. Like he's being humble, but he wants to win, but he's still saying if you don't vote for me, vote for somebody that at least vote, right? That's the main thing.
Yeah, at least vote. Yeah, at least
Yes.
vote.
So I got one minute left. So just want to say thanks for coming on the show. I'll send you a copy of
Thank
the video.
you.
Yeah, and then and just best success. Yeah. If you
Thank you
get
very
elected, I
much.
want you to come back on the show. We can talk about
Oh,
your
for
after.
sure.
Okay.
100%. I'll come back anytime, Philip. Anytime, man.
Yeah, it's
Appreciate
great
it
to
so
have you.
much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like your motto, like your attitude. It just I think it's great. Just it's refreshing. It's the
Oh,
yeah, it's nice to see. And probably when people see that, they're gonna think. What can I say about being election? You'll have doors open up for you. Even after this is
yeah.
over, you'll see yourself. And then with you as a musician, that can help out. With your talents in the background. I always
Yeah.
think musicians are all very diverse. They got a diversified talent. They have that duality about them. They can see both aspects of things in life. But
That's
most
well
people can't.
said.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, woman left gonna get cut off soon. So that's why thank you, Mitchell, for coming back on or coming on the show. And good luck with the campaign, and keep in touch. We'll keep in touch. Uh,
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Philip. I really
yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah.
I really
So
enjoyed this.
so say get out there and vote for Mitchell and see what the candidates are about. And
Yeah. Get out there and vote.
yeah, so that's me. Do anything you built. So I'll just say cut off for now. So have a good weekend, sir. Nice talking to you.
Yeah. You too, buddy.
I like your humble heart. It's so cool.
Thanks.